Hey guys, welcome into Faith in Football. My name is Neil, and I could not think of a better song to kick this episode off than Rise Up, Lazarus by Kane. Take a listen.
In the dark and all alone, growing comfortable. Are you too scared to move and walk out of this tomb? Buried underneath the lies that you believe. Safe and sound, stuck in the ground, too lost to be found. You're just asleep, and it's time to leave. Come on, take a breath, you're alive now. Can't you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the dead like Lazarus? You're brand new, how death couldn't hold you. Can't you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the dead like Lazarus?
So that is Rise Up by Kane, and I don't calm down. I'm not switching teams. I did not become a Falcons fan by getting Rise Up as my kickoff song for this episode. Today, today's episode, we're going to do a mock draft. But what I want to talk about, we're using the book of Luke, chapter 7, verse 40. We're going to kind of give a little context to the verse, but what I want to talk about today is how we look at others, and how we look at players in fantasy football. A lot of times we look at players when we look at their stats, and, I talk here a lot about environmental drafting and environmental roster management. And you might be thinking, what is that? Well, that is, instead of looking at the stats of a player, instead of looking at what they've done in the past, look at the environment that surrounds them in the present. And I really didn't understand where I got this from until I was preparing for this show. And I realized that this was truly a God-given inspiration for this show and for my life. And God asked us to look at people's environment, because how many times do you want people to look at your environment before they judge you? But we look at others, we look at their stats, we look at their car or their home or their job or, their status, their social status. And we see what we want to see, and we make a judgment based on their life stats. Well, we want to be judged on our environment. We want people to look at us and go, you know what? If you don't know me, don't judge me. If you don't know where I've come from, if you don't know what I've been through, don't judge me. Don't look at my job or look at my car or look at my home or how much money I make and go, well, you're this or you're that, before you get to know me. But we do that to other people all the time. Here's a story, as I said, from the book of Luke. Now, here's a little context. If you back up into the chapter, you go to verse 36. He starts talking about one of the Pharisees. And for those of you who don't know, a Pharisee was the ruling class of the Jewish community. They were the holy people, if you will, the ones who they memorized the Torah, which was the first 5 books of the Old Testament. And they could recite, a verse and chapter and verse at a drop of a hat. That was basically a requirement for a Pharisee. And so a lot of people didn't think that Jesus should be associating with people like that who are holier than thou, if that's not the way that he wanted to come off. But he wanted to sit with these people and show them that he was a different breed. He was set apart from others. And he went into the home of a Pharisee, and this woman who, let's just call her immoral, she was a sinner, came and she heard that he was going to be at this house, and she went and she kissed his feet, and she was crying uncontrollably, and all the sin that she had in her life was just overwhelming her. And she cried, and her tears are falling on Jesus's feet, and she's wiping them with her hair. And this Pharisee, he has a thought that if this man was really a prophet, he would know who was touching him, and he would be like, "Hey, whoa, don't touch me. You're unclean. You're sinful. You're not worthy to touch me." They were making judgments based on what they saw, based on this woman's stats. But Jesus went and told this story. He said, a man loaned money to two people, 500 pieces of silver to one and 50 to another. But neither of them could repay him. So he kindly forgave them both, canceling their debt. Who do you suppose loved him more after that? Now, that's the question that he asked the Pharisee. So that's the question I ask you. If someone loans you $500 and loans your buddy $50, and neither one of y'all can repay him, who's going to be more thankful when that debt is forgiven? The guy with $50 or you with 500? I'm pretty sure that you with the $500 loan are going to be a lot more thankful than that man with the $50 loan that got forgiven. Now, Jesus said this as a point. He said he forgave this woman's sins because her sins were great. She had sinned often and a lot. The Pharisee might not have sinned that much. So Jesus told me, says, I tell you, her sins, and they are many, have been forgiven. So she has shown me much love. But a person who is forgiven little shows only little love. Then Jesus said to the woman, your sins are forgiven. Now, that's a very powerful scene when you stop and think about it. Those who are forgiven or who sin little or forgave little shows only little love. How much sin have you been forgiven for? How much sin, how much love should you be showing based on that? Are you showing love to other people as Jesus would have you do? I know I have a struggle every day to show certain people the amount of love that I should. And that goes for people who are close to me and people who I don't know. So I encourage you today that as you go out in your day-to-day life, as you go out in your day-to-day activity, I want you to go out there and not look at someone's stats. I don't want you to look at what they look like, what they talk like, what kind of car they drive, how much money they make. I want you to ask the Lord to show you them through his eyes. So as we go into today's mock draft and we look for players who have a better environment around them, I want you to create a better environment around yourself. Remember, God starts with you and then reaches others. He can't work through you unless you're right with him. So work with God, not against him. Open yourself up and maybe step out of your zone a little bit. So I hope this word's been encouraging for you guys. And as always, I've said it before, I love the book of Luke, and I encourage you to please take time and read a couple of chapters. And if Luke's not the book for you, then I suggest you start reading some other books, and let me know down the bottom. Subscribe, like, and share. And I hope that this is an uplifting show for you. So let's get into today's mock draft. First of all, I want to acknowledge my sponsor of the show, Zia of Lafayette. They're on Doucette Road. If you are in the Lafayette area, you give them a call at 406-0013. It's area code 337. So it's 337-406-0013. You can place your to-go order. You can find them on DoorDash or Waiter, or just come on by. They're in front of Red Laurel's Health Club on Doucette Road, and they are behind the Johnson Street Grand Theater in Lafayette, Louisiana. Awesome food. They've just got 3 new menu items. They've got a coastal salad. It's got lemon brine shrimp, artichoke hearts, pecans. Yes, it's pecans, not pecans. Okay. If you're going to be down south, you got to say it right. Sorry. Tomatoes, spring mix. It's awesome salad if you're trying to eat healthy. It's got a white balsamic vinaigrette that is out of this world. We also have a trout mock shoe. For those of you who don't know what mock shoe is, you got to go try it. It's just really hard to explain if you're not from here. But if you are in the Lafayette, Louisiana area, you should know what mock shoe is. So go down and get some trout mock shoe. It's sitting on top of some awesome Zia grits. And then we also have a huli huli chicken. The huli huli chicken has a little huli huli sauce. For those of you who don't know, it's kind of a Hawaiian type sauce with a little toasted coconut on top of it. It is phenomenal. It's a rotisserie chicken with all of that. And then get your sides. And remember, in the month of August, I finally got it for you guys. In the month of August, if you go down to Zia and you say that you heard about them on Faith and Football, then you get a free appetizer with the purchase of an entree. So remember, Faith and Football with the Zia Rotisserie Grill in Lafayette, Louisiana. You guys go down there, tell them that Neil sent you, and pick up your free appetizer, okay? So let's get into today's mock draft. Here we go. Now, I'm drafting from the 7th spot. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do some mock drafts to where you guys can see that you can pick a good team no matter where you're at. I did a couple at the 10. I want you guys to do me a favor. Down the bottom, I want you to leave me a message and let me know where you want to see me draft from and what kind of draft you want me to do. If you want me to do a draft that's more running back heavy, let me know. More wide receiver heavy. If you want me to go early after a quarterback, let me know that. Because I love doing mock drafts for you guys that are helpful for you specifically, because I believe that's where you can get the most out of it. If you see me just drafting from a spot and, maybe you're already locked in, maybe your league already has its spots picked out, then that's fine. So you can prepare for it. You can go ahead and mock draft continuously from that spot. Play around with your lineup. I encourage you guys, do as many mock drafts as you can and look and see what kind of team you can build and what you're comfortable with, what looks good to you. Okay. So let's go ahead, start this draft. And as we see, the normal here. So McCaffrey, Henry, Kamara, and Cook. Now, normally Cook's going to go at the number 2 Henry's normally going to go with the number 3, and Kamara's going to go with 4. I like this app because it does juggle the picks around a lot. You see Tyreek Hill going at the 5 spot, followed by Jonathan Taylor. Now, here's the thing. Saquon Barkley is one that if you're at the 7, you're going to be tempted and go, hey, oh, and by the way, guys, know this is not alcohol, even though it's in a red Solo cup. I'm drinking Crystal Light Grape, off brand. But anyway, I ran out of bang. Sorry, guys. But like I said, Saquon has that injury that he's coming off of, and he's come out and said that he does not know if he's going to be available for week 1. So he's going to fall in your home leagues. So I'm looking at this, and I see Nick Chubb sitting there. I've done drafts before where I've taken Kelsey at this spot. So I like Nick Chubb. I really do. Let me link this here. And you see Stephon Diggs, Austin Eckler. Those guys are great. But Nick Chubb is going to be getting a ton of volume. So at the 7 spot, I like him. You guys know I'm not a big Dallas fan, as you can tell. So I'm not going to be picking him. Now we see Kelsey go here at the turn. Let me reduce this. After my Nick Chubb, we see Saquon and then Zeke. Now, Zeke has been falling a lot. There's a lot of questions about whether or not he's going to be 100% coming back. We see a lot of hype. And when you guys are watching, the reports coming out of training camp these upcoming weeks through the month of August, you're going to see preseason, and you're going to see you're going to hear the coach speak. You're going to hear the players. And the one thing that drives me nuts is that when you hear a player go, yeah, I'm focused this offseason, I've been keeping in shape. You're a professional athlete. You're supposed to. That's your job. Okay, that's like I'm a cook by trade, so that's like me going to work and going, you know what? I cooked a lot of good food today. Guess what? I'm supposed to. Hey, I'm focused on the game, and I'm focused on on my health and conditioning, and also you're supposed to be. That's nothing special. Okay, when you start hearing the negative come out of camp, that's the stuff you guys need to listen to. Okay, and that's just in fantasy football. Remember, don't listen to the negative in life. Okay, guys. So don't want to get off brand here. Now we see Davante Adams being the second wide receiver off the board. I saw a brief news flash that Aaron Rodgers is saying that he will report this offseason to Packers camp. So with that said, Davante Adams and Aaron Jones keep their spot at the number in the first round of most drafts. Okay. Then we see Eckler at the 12, Kelsey at the turn in the top part of the second, followed by Diggs, Metcalf, Hopkins, and our first quarterback off the board, Patrick Mahomes. Now, Patrick is probably going to go the number 1 overall a lot. Now, my next one, you're looking for volume, guys. Okay. Now, I love Cam Akers in this spot, and I love Joe Mixon. I think Mixon's going to get a lot of volume. I think he's going to get a lot of use in the passing game. But here's the thing. I will trust Matt Stafford over Joe Burrow, who was coming off of an injury. Okay. And then we see now, this is where you go. This is your traditional running back setup for fantasy football. You see down here in team 2, you have Derrick Henry and Calvin Ridley. I love that matchup, followed by George Kittle, who I'm not as crazy about because I don't know about paying that high of a price for a guy who is coming off injury. I'm just not comfortable with that. Darren Waller, Jonathan Taylor, and A.J. Brown for Team 6. I like that lineup. Waller is probably, outside of Henry Ruggs for Vegas, is probably the only option that Derek Carr is going to have. And we see, let's see here. Justin Jefferson, Swift, and McCaffrey. Michael Thomas, Antonio Gibson. I like that pick with Najee Harris and Dalvin Cook. They're going very running back heavy. They're going to miss out on the top wide receivers. Now, those are the times when you're doing your draft, you're going to come up against that. You're going to have to make that choice. Do you want a high volume running back? Because all three of those running backs, Cook, Najee Harris, and Antonio Gibson, are all the clear-cut workhorse running backs for their team. There's nobody else in Washington. There's nobody behind Najee, and there's nobody behind Cook who's going to threaten to take their carries, okay? So I'm looking at Nick Chubb, who, yes, he does do a timeshare with Kareem Hunt, but we saw last year that even when Chubb went down with injury, Kareem Hunt was not what we thought he would be. Trust me, I had him last year. So Cam Akers, he has become the clear-cut number one for that team, for the Rams. So I'm looking for my number one wide receiver, and I'm loving me some Keenan Allen. So Keenan Allen with an up-and-coming quarterback in Justin Herbert, who we just see go off the board. Or no, I'm sorry, it's Josh Allen, my bad. After my Allen pick, we see Terry McLaurin, CEH. Now, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he has fallen because a lot of people they got burned last year. They took him number one. They believed the hype. They were putting a way too high of an expectation on him. This year, him falling to the third or the fourth round is a great value pick. And I know it's crazy to say that a value pick in the third round, but when you got a guy who has number one, he's got top 12 potential, top 10 potential on a very powerful offense. He's got a very high-flying offense. That's great. David Montgomery with Team 8 right there. You see him. That's also a great pick. I love that pick. A lot of people are high David Montgomery, and I don't understand why. I get that he's on the Bears. I get that, he had a cupcake schedule toward the end of the year. But look, he can't control his schedule. I like the fact that Justin Fields is there. I like the fact that they've upgraded. Even Andy Dalton is an upgrade from what they had last year. So they're not going to be as heavy in the box against the run when they face other defenses. The defenses aren't going to be trying to stop just the run because they're going to have to respect the quarterback play. We see Miles Sanders, Allen Robinson, Josh Allen, Mike Evans, Lamar Jackson. Now, a lot of people are not as high on Lamar Jackson this year, but he is going high. He's got really high upside for rushing. Amari Cooper, you guys know I'm not picking. So, pardon me, Chris Carson, and then David Montgomery. So, what am I taking? Well, let's pull it up. Take a look. Now, who would have thought that in the fourth round, I could get a player like Julio Jones? Let's check out and see what we have here. The running backs here, I'm not really high on. Fourth round, you're going to try to look for those upside wide receivers who can really, really help your team. I believe Julio Jones is going to be that guy this year. And we see Chris Godwin, Adam Thielen, Travis Etienne, Cooper Kupp, And let me see. We see Kyle Pitts go off the board. Now, look, here's the thing about Pitts. There's a lot of hype, which deservedly so, because the guy's a physical freak. He's an athletic phenomenon. But he hasn't done it in the NFL. And he's a rookie tight end. And you got to remember, Calvin Ridley's still there. Even though Julio left, Calvin Ridley's still there. Okay? They also have a new offensive coordinator. And like I said in my message, you want to look at the environment. Okay? New OC, new head coach, new philosophy. Things are going on in Atlanta. The guys coming from Tennessee, where he had Derrick Henry. They were really dependent upon the run. Okay? A lot of play action passing, and they got Mike Davis. So we all know what Davis did last year in replacement of McCaffrey. They still got Matty Ice, good quarterback play. So I kind of be, if you're gonna see, whoever's picking Kyle Pitts this early is selling out in that area. Okay, that's going to be a team where, if you're drafting Kyle Pitts early, you're also probably going to want to draft another tight end, which I never recommend drafting 2 tight ends. But in that case, that's probably going to be prudent for you. Now, we see Kenny Golladay sitting there. I don't really like Golladay. I just think that there are too many options in New York, and I don't believe in Daniel Jones this year. Yes, he could break out. That's great. I've said it before. I was born in Springfield, Missouri. You're going to have to show me. Okay. So let's look at what we got left at running back real quick. I think I can wait on Javonte Williams, but let's go ahead and find out. I'm liking Deontay Johnson. Now we see Mark Andrews, Russell Wilson. We see Golladay go off the board there. My boy Justin Herbert. Let's see who else we got here. Gaskin, Mike Davis. This is one of those times when you look at it and go, Now, here's the thing, is that at the turn, and remember, when I just pulled up, we didn't even see Mike Davis anywhere around. We actually saw him below James Robinson that was taken here by Team 9, 3 picks later, okay? If you believe in a player, if you have a guy in mind, and you're at the turn, if you're 10, 11, 12, okay, you're gonna have to reach for that player because you have a very long wait. I'm drafting in the middle of the pack, so I don't have to be, I don't have to reach for players. I can see how they fall. I'm going to have, a good midway point here. The only bad thing is that a lot of times you're going to get caught up either reacting to runs, whereas if you were in the back half or the front half of the draft, 1, 2, 3, or 10, 11, 12, you're going to either start runs. When I say runs, I'm talking about stuff like this, where in this round, I took Deontay Johnson, and you see all the guys that fell, DJ Moore, Robert Woods, Jamar Chase, who I really like this year, Tyler Lockett, CeeDee Lamb. A lot of wide receivers went off the board before I made my pick. Okay. So you're going to get pressure. You're going to feel that anxiety going, man, I need to get a wide receiver. And it's more often than not that it's going to come in rounds 3, 4, 5. Okay. So let's check this out here. Now, I'm in round 6. The quarterback that I really wanted went a couple of picks before me and Justin Herbert. I really kind of wanted him. Now we see Prescott, Rodgers, Lawrence, Burrow, and Brady. I can wait on all these guys. Matt Stafford's still there. And you're going to see Deshaun Watson on your screen a lot. Don't pay attention to it, guys. Okay. Now, I've only got about 15 seconds, and we see Javonte Williams right there. I like Javonte, and you're going to see Melvin Gordon right behind him in a lot of drafts. A lot of guys have him ranked right there together. They have both of those guys. I like Javonte Williams over Melvin Gordon. And remember, Melvin Gordon still has some off-field issues that you need to pay attention to and see what's going to happen with that, okay? Let's go ahead and lower this down. So after my Williams pick, we see Brandon Ayuk. And I saw a really interesting argument against Brandon Ayuk is that there's still Debo. He's still there. Which, let me see. Saying that now, Debo Samuel is not. I don't see him taken. I don't remember. Oh, he's not. So, with that said, that's a very interesting pick here in the 7th. So, you know what, guys? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Debo. And the reason I like Debo is I like the fact that they try to manufacture touches for him. Yes, he's injured. He's got some injury concerns. And I can't believe that David Johnson just went off the board in the 8th round. And this is one of the things that you want to pay attention to. And this is why you want to mock draft a lot. Right now, there's a lot of people that are saying David Johnson shouldn't go until after the 10th. Here's the thing. There's a really crowded backfield in Houston. But if you remember last year in Washington, and I clowned about it on this show, is that there was like 10 running backs. They were bringing in everybody. They were just throwing stuff to the wall and seeing what stuck. And coming out of that, Antonio Gibson emerged as the premier running back for that squad. J.D. McKissick was there. He took over some of the pass catching work out of the backfield. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he's gone. But my point here is that even though there's a very crowded backfield in Houston, and this is why I encourage you, do your draft as late as you can. We do ours 2 days before the league kicks off, before the season starts. That way, a lot of your questions are answered. And we see Brandon Cooks right next to him in Houston. Houston's going to be a jumble. It's going to be messed up. Their defense is horrible. They're in a really bad division. Bad division, bad defense can equal very good fantasy production. Now we see after my Debo pick, we had Ronald Jones, Raheem Mostert, Dallas Goedert, Noah Fant, Kenyon Drake, who I would definitely lay off, Jalen Waddle, who is a very interesting pick there. If you want my take on that, hit me up down below. Trey Sermon, James Conner, who, again, I would lay off. And then we just talked about DJ and Brandon Cooks. So, now, I think I'm pretty good. Let's look at, sorry guys. Let's look at my roster real quick. We've got Nick Chubb, Cam Akers, Keenan Allen, Julio, Javonte, and Debo. So I'm looking right now for what we can find here, and I'm loving this right now. I love me some Michael Carter this year, guys. I know he's with the Jets, but I'm loving what the Jets are doing this year. Okay. Now we see here in the back half of the 8th round, a bunch of quarterbacks just went off the board. If I can get over there, we can see who the last guy was. Joe Burrow. We see Aaron Rodgers, Trevor Lawrence, Tom Brady, Joe Burrow all go back to back. And that is what we're talking about when I say runs. We saw all these guys go off the board, and we saw a run on quarterbacks. Now, here's the thing. Look at your board before you panic, okay? Because you're going to look at this and go, oh, my gosh, I need to grab any quarterback that's available. They're all going. No, you don't. Why? Because this is the only team that doesn't have a quarterback. Sorry. Yes, I am. I am the only team that has not selected a quarterback. Okay? So anybody else is going to be believing in a backup quarterback right now. Okay? But I've gotten the guys that I've wanted to get. I haven't had to pass on anyone. And that's what you have to look at. You have to look at who, if you're going to go get your quarterback, then who are you passing on? Are you passing on, a really good mid-round receiver, a mid-round running back, a guy that can make a difference for you, okay? Because when you get down past the top 3 quarterbacks, all of these guys are interchangeable. It's just who do you believe in more, okay? Now, let's see who is available here as far as this. Yeah, I'm good. See who's available for tight end. I'm still good. I'm waiting until late round on tight end now, so I can load up. And I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's raining here in South Louisiana today again. I'm fixing to start looking for Noah. I think he's building an ark somewhere around here. Now, wide receiver here. I like Curtis Samuel. I think that the familiarity that he has with Ron Rivera is going to pay off in Washington. Now, we see Matt Stafford just went off the board. So I'm going up here. And this guy right here who picked Deshaun Watson, he is praying, because that's his backup quarterback. He is praying that he gets signed somewhere. Jalen Hurts, that's somebody right there. They have Josh Allen, so they don't need a quarterback. They just picked a guy that they think has potential upside that could turn into their QB1. Okay. On the other hand, I'm going to go ahead and take Ryan Tannehill here in the 10th. And we see after the Tannehill pick, Big Irv Smith, tight end from Minnesota, off the board. Tyler Higbee, who I do like, but with Matt Stafford liking to throw the ball downfield, I know people are going to make the argument, well, he made TJ Hockenson something in Detroit. He made TJ Hockenson something in Detroit because he didn't have any other options. He had Kenny Golladay. Sometimes he had Marvin Jones. Both of those guys got injured. So he was kind of left with TJ Hockenson. In LA, he's got Robert Woods. He's got Cooper Kupp. Okay, he's got Cam Akers out of the backfield. He's got options. Okay. After that, we see Michael Gallup, Michael Pittman. We see AB, Antonio Brown going in the 10th. Now, Antonio Brown in the 10th can be a value pick, but the way that Brady likes to spread the ball around, this guy he doubled up. He's got a stack right here, and that's what we call it when you have a quarterback and a wide receiver on the same team. That's a stack. Okay. You want to look for stuff like that. That's why I was looking for Justin Herbert, because I had gotten Keenan Allen. I really wanted that, but he got picked 3 picks before I was going to pick him in the 6th. If you want a top flight quarterback, you're gonna have to go in the 6th, okay? Just to guarantee it, okay? You can't trust that he's gonna fall like Rodgers and Brady did in the 8th. Elijah Moore, I love Elijah Moore. I love what they're doing with the Jets in New York. I think that he's going to be a really sneaky good player this year. Justin Fields, you're going to have to wait on Fields. And having Fields and Burrow, I don't like that combination. Then Devontae Parker, I think he's going to be odd man out in Miami. A.J. Dillon is what we call a handcuff to Aaron Jones in case he gets injured. And then Mike Williams, Nyheim Hines, Gus Edwards rounding out that round. Now, let's go running back. Don't like that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take Mecole Hardman. And you guys might be thinking, Mecole Hardman, what the heck are you doing? Look, Mecole Hardman in the 11th round. That's a value pick. And whoever's picking Todd Gurley is a moron. They don't know what they're talking about. Okay, sorry. It's just a fact. Because he doesn't even have a team. Okay? Those are guys that should go undrafted. Okay? So let's take a look at our lineup here. We see I'm a little wide receiver heavy right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at running back. And I like this running back here simply because he doesn't need an injury to be fantasy relevant. Okay, if you have a flex position that you want to throw this guy in, go right ahead. And I'm talking about Latavius Murray. And I know you might be thinking, well, you've been in Louisiana too long. Why are you taking Latavius Murray? I'm taking Murray because I'm in Louisiana and I have been here for quite some time. But I also understand that even with Alvin Kamara, when they get down to the goal line, they're looking for Kamara. And if it turns out to be Jameis Winston at the helm rather than his name is escaping me right now, Taysom Hill, there it is. Taysom Hill, if it's famous Jameis, then it's going to be better for Latavius because he's going to get more goal line work. If it's Hill 9 times out of 10 is going to have that rushing upside, but he's in a split and you really can't guarantee when he's going to get the start. Now, after my Latavius Murray, we see Marvin Jones, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, Evan Ingram, Trey Lance, the Rams defense off the board in 12. Now, a lot of times in your home league, guys are going to wait to draft a defense. So you can probably wait until rounds 14 or 15. So whatever the last 2 rounds, our league of record is going to have 16 rounds. We're going to have an extra bench spot. Then you see Zach Ertz, Jonnu Smith. Now, I like Jonnu. I would have picked him up, but kind of got outmaneuvered right there. Here's the tight end that I really, really like. I really like Gerald Everett, but I think I can wait on him. And I will go ahead. I'm looking right now at the defenses and looking in division. Okay, look at the division that they're in. That's where you want to make your decision if you have a question, because I'm going between Pittsburgh and the Ravens. Okay, Now, do I really want to go against Lamar twice a year, or would I rather go against Big Ben? I would rather go against Big Ben simply because of age and what he's shown me in the past, that he is turnover prone. He has those games, and it's always a knockdown drag out. Okay. Also, you're facing Baker Mayfield twice a year and Joe Burrow twice a year. Now, Burrow gets injured again. You got that going on. You're going to be facing a backup quarterback. I like the Ravens. I like the way that they control the ball on the ground. So you know that they are going to have a very low scoring game. Okay. It's going to be 14, 21 points. They're not going to be, scoring all over the place. So we see Austin Hooper go off the board, who I really do like as well. J.D. McKissick. Apparently he is still with Washington, but I can't take that for granted because they still got Todd Gurley with Atlanta. Jamal Williams in Detroit. Look, Detroit's one of those backfields that I don't want anything. I don't want anything aside from maybe TJ Hawkinson, maybe. But the thing about TJ is that because of his success with Matt Stafford last year, a lot of people think that's going to translate with Jared Goff. I would believe in it, but I'm not paying that high of a price to find out. Okay, there's other tight ends that you could take that you can be comfortable taking. Okay, TJ's going. We see him go here in the 7th, around guys like Dallas Goedert, Noah Fant. Even though I like TJ, I think a couple of rounds later would be more appropriate. That's just me. So, who is my tight end? Let's go get him. My tight end, right here, Gerald Everett. And you're going to hear a lot of drum beat for this guy, Adam Trautman, out in New Orleans. And we see him as the next wide receiver off the board right there. Trautman, does he have the potential? Yes. And we see that team that picked him, team 4. Also is Mike Gesicki. Again, another tight end that I loved last year, but that was with Fitzpatrick, who was starting. With Tua, I just don't know. I'm telling you guys, I don't know. I don't know if you can trust Tua. That's why I'm out on Parker. I'm out on Waddle. Now, I do have a guy who I'm trying to get as a guest to do one of these with me, who is very, very high on Miami. I am not one of those guys. Okay. Now we see Chuba Hubbard, the rookie running back out of Carolina. I love that pick this late. If I'd already had a tight end, I didn't have to blow a pick on that, I would have taken him. Chuba Hubbard. If you're not doing your research, you're going to forget about him. You're not going to know about him. And you can he might even go undrafted in your home league, or go very, very late. Okay. I could have jumped up. I could have got him here with the Ravens pick. And I would have been left with either San Fran or Pittsburgh, which I would have been absolutely fine with. But I've seen Hubbard go at the very last pick. Now, I don't have a backup quarterback. So I'm looking here and I'm going, okay, are there any wide receivers right here that I really like? Are there any running backs here that I really like? Quarterbacks, I'll go ahead and do it. Normally, I would say Zach Wilson. I've done a lot of drafts where I've taken Zach Wilson in with the last pick. But this guy right here, look, I'm loving Fitzpatrick as a plug. I'm not going to say plug and play, but I will say that he can be a very good streamable quarterback depending upon matchup. So let's take a look at my lineup, now that our draft is over, let's take a look. Sorry, guys. Okay, so at quarterback, I got Ryan Tannehill, followed by Nick Chubb and Cam Akers as my prime running backs. Then Keenan Allen and Julio Jones. Gerald Everett. Now, remember, Everett's up with Wilson in Seattle this year. I think that I know they love using the tight end. It's worked out before. I believe it can work out again. Deontay Johnson as my flex. Javonte Williams. I think there's a really good upside to him. And then we've got the Ravens defense. Now, remember, I don't do kickers here. If you want to do a kicker, that's fine. They're interchangeable. They're so erratic. They're very dependent upon matchup. So you can stream any kicker outside of maybe the top two. And I know Tucker is one of those guys that I would, if you drafted him, great. Then you pretty much locked and loaded for that. Debo, Michael Carter, Curtis Samuel, Mecole Hardman, Latavius Murray, and Ryan Fitzpatrick as my backup. So, with that said, there we go. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that mock draft. I hope you got a little bit out of it. Remember, down the bottom, subscribe, like, and share. And don't forget my sponsors, Zia of Lafayette. Remember, in the month of August, we got it coming up. I'm going to remind you guys, month of August, mention Faith in Football and get your free appetizer with your purchase of an entree. Okay, guys? Remember, what's the message of today? We're looking at environment. Okay, environment around the player when we do our draft, and environment around others when we're making our decisions about them. Okay, remember, you don't want to be judged on your appearance. Don't judge others by theirs. Okay, get to know somebody today. Reach out, give somebody a hand up, not a handout. Get to know them, give them a pat on the back, tell them good job at work. Maybe somebody that you don't get along with, reach out to them. You'll never know. You might be passing up a good friend. So remember, guys, Faith in Football, the football show with a higher calling. Remember, down the bottom, subscribe, like, and share. Leave me a comment. I'd love to talk to you guys. You can find me on Twitter at Faith in Football. Love to hear from you guys there as well. Till next time, I'm Neil. This is Faith in Football. God bless. Y'all have a great day.